Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. I was listening to a podcast on the environment recently, and in this podcast they were sharing that 1/5 of Americans contribute 1/3 of the environmental damage to America and the world. So there's an inequality there in prosperity. Those who are living for possessions are harming those who have less possessions. Meaningful Mornings is a workshop to train us in equality, not just in thought, but also in word, in action. We can't just think about equality through Bhagavad Gita and beyond. We can't just speak about this through Bhagavad Gita and beyond. We have to act on this. We should be those 1/5 of Americans who contribute 1/3 of the help towards the environment in America and the world. Prince Arjuna knows what omnipresent means. He knows that Brahma, God, is omnipresent. Yet he doesn't know that. That's why he can't feel it. That's why he's sharing with Sri Krishna, show me divinity. Think of this in a crude way. Like before someone does something, they'll say, show me the money, then I'll do it. Right? There's a lack of trust, a lack of faith. That's the position of Prince Arjuna right now. And Sri Krishna, who's most karuna nidhana, he has uncaused compassion. In chapter 10, from verses 21 to 38. This is 18 verses. We have completed 12. He is sharing dozens of pointers to see divinity, with the aspiration that Prince Arjuna will nurture more faith, more trust to feel infinity. We have gone through 45 of such pointers. There's still many to go. And so I'm reorienting us again and again and again so that we don't feel these verses are repetitive. Anyone who feels they're bored in Meaningful Mornings or in any circumstance, what this is indicative of is a lack of openness. Learning has stopped. In these verses, the evolution is to go from good to great to greatest to God. If we think of good, our parents, they taught us to be good. Agreed? In terms of being great, I feel a motivational teacher, speaker will teach one to be great. That greatness is always in reference to another. It's almost like a competition. In terms of the greatest, here is where an inspirational teacher, speaker is needed. That's not in reference to another, that comes from within. Inspiration. In terms of God, only God can teach us, speak to us, to be God. I think about this framework all the time. This is like Vivek's responsibility crisis. What should I be doing with my life in terms of not being? I know I have to be God. But how can I help God's work? Do I help people to be good or great or greatest? It's confusing because not everyone's ready for that. There's so many people I interact with where just being good is challenging for them. This is me sharing my reflections. In verse 32, Sri Krishna shares, amongst creation, he's in the beginning, middle, and end. His point being, he is that fundamental creation, not functional creation. How we can reflect on this, to tune from the functional to the fundamental, start by labeling less. When we label less, then what happens is we start to have less likes. When there's less likes, then there's less limits. The functional is filled with labels, likes, limits. The fundamental is not. Label less. Sri Krishna shares, amongst knowledges, I am spirituality. I'm going to invest some minutes into this now with some heavy thoughts. Please reflect on these, because this is what we're doing. Morning after morning, we're engaged in this science of the spirit. In Taittiriya Upanishad, infinity, life, is pointed to as Satya, Jnana, Ananda. The word I'm focusing on is Jnana. I hope we all know that Jnana means knowledge. How is it that infinity, that life is indicated as knowledge? Because you can only know if you are aware. Think of everything you know. All of your IQ is founded on awareness. Very basically, I have to be awake to even do math, correct? That's why jnana and awareness, or chit, they're all synonyms. So when we think of the greatest science, awareness is the greatest science, correct? Then there can be other sciences. Swami Tejomayananda had shared that awareness is pratishta, it is the foundation, and on top of that, then there is buddhi, which means functionality. And if you think of this in your own life, that really means that one's SQ, spiritual quotient, is the most important, then EQ, emotional quotient, then IQ, our intellectual quotient, what we know about the functional. The science of the Spirit can only bless. When there's steadiness and sincerity with the science of the Spirit, this can only bless. Other knowledges are not like this. Just think of nuclear knowledge. It can power this home, or it can destroy this home for hundreds of years, correct? It can poison everything around me. Other knowledges can be misused, but the science of the Spirit only blesses. In our culture, there have been masters who were completely illiterate, didn't even know how to write their own name, yet the semi-gods and leaders would bow down to them because of this science of the Spirit, that they were in tune with this. With Prince Arjuna, he knows so much, but the only way he can be purged of moha, which is confusion, and bhaya, which is fear, and shoka, which is sorrow, is when he knows and feels the Spirit. We've all gone through this. I've gone through this. I was in school for 18 years, and I never felt I've learned enough. I need to keep learning more. It was only when I was living at Sandipani for 2 years that I felt complete. I don't need to know anything else. This is happening in the world. That's happening in your life. I don't need to know that. I only need to know the Spirit. This is what we're doing. We're ending chapter 10. We have many more chapters to go. If you analyze your investment as you end 2022 and 2023, invest in Adhyatma Vidya. And finally, this verse is closed where, amongst forms of debating or communicating, the best is Vada. What we're doing is Samvada. We're sharing in a meaningful way. How we can apply this is, our default in terms of communication should be over communication. I've found that families and friendships struggle where there's under communication. We continue, verse 33. 2 more pointers are shared, and then Sri Krishna gets into a mood where he doesn't share the pointer, but he comes back to the reorientation. Aksharanam akarosmi dvandvasamasikasya cha ahamevakshaya kalaha dhataham vishwato mukhaha. Next pointer. Aksharanam, amongst letters, akaraha asmi. The greatest, the Sri Krishna, is akara, which means a. The letter a in Sanskrit, or a in English. The reason for this, everyone take a deep breath in. And now make any sound. Say window, or just shout. But the first sound that's generated is this, ah. When you're frustrated, ah. When you're calm, ah. See how that A is so natural. And that's why in Sanskrit, every letter is built with A. I was teaching in London once, back in the day, and I kept on sharing Vedanta and Guna, words that we come across. And I'm speaking, and this one man in the back puts his hand up and starts to speak. Why did you put your hand up? Just speak. You don't need to ask my permission. And he goes, why do you keep saying Vedanta? It's Vedant. Why do you keep saying Guna? It's Gun. And I said, no, it's not. What you're referencing is Hindi. In Hindi, that A is not there. In Sanskrit, it is. I shared my name is Vivekaha. You can take off one portion of it, becomes Viveka. But my parents are Hindi speakers, so they named me Vivek. They corrupted this awesome name. That man didn't buy it. He goes, "Did you study Sanskrit? Do you know what you're talking about?" I Har Har Mahadev. I surrender. One more reflection about the importance of A in the word Om, which we've already come across. It's 3 letters, A-U-M. The A symbolizes waking. Like the first sound is A, there's a creation, a productivity. The waking state is the same way. You can only get enlightened while you're awake. Not while you're dreaming, okay? If someone is teaching you that, they're teaching you wrongly. And Shri Krishna shares, Samasikasya, which means compounds. This again relates to Sanskrit. He is Dvandvaha, which is a special compound. These are highly technical grammar matters. Fun if you like it. The point to be noted here is, this compound is when 2 words are combined and each word is equally important. That's what Sri Krishna is trying to share. There's an equality when 2 are combined. So often we're not exposed to that. When 2 come together, we compete, correct? But here he's pointing out there's an equality. Now he reorients us. These are not pointers. He shares, he is Akshaya Kalaha. He is the indestructible time. And he says, Dhata Vishwato Mukhaha. He is the provider in all directions. Put very simply, in the 3rd quarter he's sharing, he is God. And in the 4th quarter, he is sharing he is the greatest. He's doing this so we don't get lost in what he's teaching. From inspiration to application, we're prepping for Saturday, December 3rd, Bhagavad Gita's birthday. Here is what I would like us to do to provide a gift to Bhagavad Gita. Now what remains? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And Bhagavad Gita's birthday is on Saturday. Today, all of us, I'm asking you to do this, write Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama 108 times. Tomorrow, I want you to draw Bhagavad Gita, whatever you feel Bhagavad Gita is. And on Friday, I want you to come up with a plan for you to live like Bhagavad Gita. Nama, Rupa, Guna. Reflect on this. I will keep refining every day. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.